That was great. Hi.
Hi.
Bangor. I'm Lisa Kushner. I'm here with Grandmothers for Reproductive Rights. This organization has been around about 7 years. Its intention is to secure reproductive justice for future generations, for which our generation fought so hard. It was started by Judy Carl in Maine, and it is now national. The website is easy to find, and it's on the back of our buttons. I'm here for personal and professional reasons. I had an illegal abortion in 1966. Okay, better? Okay. The abortion in 66 led to my work as a family planning counselor for 20 years at Midcoast Family Planning. And in 1992, with Peggy McKenna, a photographer, I developed the Belly Project, a series of photographs and a poster. And that led to me going back to school and becoming a psychotherapist for 20 years, listening to people talk about their lives and their abortions. I've been totally discouraged about the current situation, as you all have. And I spoke to a friend of mine and told her I had nothing inspirational to say. And she said, "Fuck inspiration. You just have to tell the truth." So here are a couple of truths that I know. Only two. Number one truth is, if you have a uterus, you need to know that abortion is health care. You need to know that uterus belongs to you. Having a uterus is a great big deal. It can be a responsibility, it can be a blessing, and it can be a burden. Here's a fun fact. A healthy person with a uterus will menstruate 5 years straight in a lifetime. 5 years, day and night bleeding in your whole life. If you do the math, you can figure this out. 5 days a month, 12 months a year, 30 years of fertility, maybe 40, but we'll keep it conservative. 5 years of constant bleeding. And that's just menstruation. So I say this with some humor, but what it really means to me is that women's experience is not expendable. It is hugely significant to have a uterus, to have a female body. Our reproductive decisions should belong only to us, and they are not something that should be erased or made secondary or ignored or erased. My second big truth is that everyone loves somebody who's had an abortion. One out of 4 women will have an abortion before the age of 45. And every one of those women, that experience will have consequences for everyone around them who care about her. And here's a short version of my own story. My parents were working class when I was 19, and I was going to a city college and living at home. I have a twin brother. Abortion was illegal, and I got pregnant. I felt so helpless and completely despairing. I'm the kind of person who likes to work on projects and fix things, and there was no way to fix this. I called every person I knew for about 2 weeks. You know, there were no cell phones in 1966, so I had to use pay phones and friends' apartment phones and their parents' houses' phones. After weeks of calling, someone I did not know, a friend of a friend of a friend, called me back, and she kindly told me every detail about the abortion she had. And I listened to her on the phone with such acute awareness, like I could hear her tone, I could hear her intelligence, and I decided to trust her. So even though I didn't have the money, $400 in 1966, which is about $3,500 now, and I didn't have a transportation any way to get there, I made an appointment. She said that the abortionist was an orderly in a hospital who had learned the technique from doctors. I had some money from my summer job. Anyway, as the date got closer, I had to tell my brother because he had a car. I thought he would have to take me. But he made me tell my parents. And I remember my mother slapping me, and the four of us just froze because nobody knew what to do. They listened to what I had learned about this provider, and they decided to take me, and they stayed with me, and they supported me. We were all terrified when we got to this building in an office apartment in a state 3 hours away, and we were horrified at what could possibly go wrong. But fortunately, nothing went wrong. The procedure went okay. I didn't bleed out. I didn't get an infection. I didn't get raped. I don't have to tell anyone here how extremely rare that kind of parental support was. It made me indebted to them in such a way that I was silenced around them for a long time. We never really talked about it as a family after that. When my father was in his 90s, he started having flashbacks about World War II for the first time. He had been in a medical unit as a mechanic, following the front in North Africa and Italy. I said to him, "How did you manage your fear?" He said, "I wasn't afraid. I was young. The most afraid I've ever been in my life was when we went for that abortion you had." So the four of us went through decades of anxiety and decades of fear for no reason. Abortion can be a simple medical procedure. In closing, I want to kind of repeat some of Jackie's remarks, but the fight for reproductive justice has to be part of a wider social movement that includes racial and economic parity as well as care for the earth. It has to go beyond our past approaches that focus only on women's individual choices. While we have the luxury of independent health centers like Mabel Wadsworth here in Maine, our sisters in Texas have nothing. There's a bill in Congress now called the EACH Act, Equal Access to Abortion Coverage. Passing this would remove the despicable Hyde Amendment and allow Medicaid to cover abortions. Call your federal legislators and tell them to pass that bill. I've had to accept that the struggle to control our own bodies is eternal, just like the struggle to control greed and use our resources unsustainably is eternal. But we have to continue. We have to keeping on. And I'm grateful for the young people who are here who will keeping on. And for all of you who are willing to take on this responsibility. Thank you.